It's not easy being a sandwich artist. But there's a certain feeling you get when you're interacting with the customer and they look at the sandwich and say, "Wow, thank you." There's nothing like it. Nothing quite roots you in reality like providing the customer with a freshly prepared artisan sandwich. I've developed quite a passion for it, actually. I mean, done right, the sandwich it's a perfect meal. It's balanced. Carbohydrate, protein, fibre, just the right amount of fat, everything in its place. What's more, you're giving the customer exactly what they've asked for. They've been able to choose what they want, and you're able to provide it. Sometimes I cry when I hand over a sandwich because there's just this release. It's like, I made it. I fucking made it. I made something that wasn't there before, and you're going to eat it. It'll sustain you, nourish you. It'll keep you alive for another day. Occasionally there's a curveball, like the other day when my dad walked in and ordered the new meatless meatball mariner. It was weird because I felt this added pressure to get it right, but also strange because Dad died 2 years ago when he had a stroke on Commercial Street. "You've always been a midgie's dick away from success." Those were his last words to me. Maybe this was my opportunity to finally prove to him that I could succeed. Maybe I could tell him I loved him one last time, which I didn't manage to do when he died because of how fast it all happened. I didn't want to mess it up. I remember the 16 weeks of training. WAPE. Welcoming, attentive, positive body language, eye contact. "Hi Dad, how are you today?" He looked at me sideways as if calling him Dad wasn't appropriate in this context. Or what if my dad was a mystery shopper and I'd just blown his cover? Oh fuck. I may have fallen at the first hurdle. He seemed to brush it off and made his order. I remained attentive. I had to rely on my training. "What bread would you like?" I said, putting on a fresh set of plastic gloves. Often customers aren't sure what bread they want, which is surprising given the examples on display. I pointed to the example breads. "We've got 9-grain wheat, Italian, herb and cheese, honey, herb and cheese." Great choice. 6-inch or foot long? Foot long. "Someone's got an appetite," I said with a smile. My dad seemed a little flustered by my line of questioning. I opened the oven to find the perfect herb and cheese sub, checking the expansion and squeezing for freshness. I picked out the finest one and set it down lovingly at the counter. Dad was watching my every move. I couldn't put a foot long. Wrong. I took out the bread knife and sliced along the length of the sub, the knife pointing downwards at a 45-degree angle. This is vital to ensure the balls stay in place. There should be exactly 8 meatballs dispersed on a 12-inch sub. I placed the meatballs along the bottom half of the bread, spooning over a little extra marinara sauce. "Vegan cheese?" "Yes." "Right on, it even melts." Dad paces the shop a little as I place 4 slices of triangular vegan cheese overlapping on top of the meatballs. I could feel sweat building up on the back of my neck. I was concerned that the pressure was starting to show. As I finished loading her up, I realised I was crouching right over the sandwich. Naturally, I want to be as close as possible to the sandwich when I'm making it, but on this occasion, I needed to correct my body language to meet the guidelines. I stood up and cracked my shoulders back and saw my dad staring at me with an expectant look. "Toasted?" He nodded absently. I toasted her up. The toasting process lasts 23 seconds exactly. Maybe this was my moment to tell him I love him. I put the sandwich in the toasting oven and shut the door. I punched the start button. We stood in silence for a few seconds, but it could have been days. I remembered all the times I'd let him down. I might have been overdoing the eye contact, so I looked up briefly. My eyelid was doing that twitchy thing, you know when you're overtired? I massaged it a little to try and stop it from wiggling, as it was affecting my vision. A job making sandwiches was finally something I was proud of. And here was my dead dad standing in front of me ordering a vegan sandwich. I might not get this opportunity again. I had to say something. A bead of sweat hovers on the edge of my nose. I wipe it away. 9 seconds left. I half smiled at him and he just looked past me as if I wasn't there. I suddenly remembered the training and told him about the new selection of vegan sauces: garlic aioli, sriracha hot chili, or sweet onion. He didn't say anything. 5, 3, 2. I love you, Dad. The oven beeped as my dad's face dropped. I mean, literally dropped. It morphed into the face of a complete stranger. In fact, this stranger looked a bit like Sajid Javid, but that's neither here nor there. The customer wasn't my dad. The customer was a customer. I wanted to sit down, but I couldn't find a chair to sit on.
Just give me the fucking sandwich,
The customer said. You don't want salad?
No, I want the fucking manager.
I wrapped the sandwich and bagged it, trying to finish the transaction as smoothly as possible. The wrapping wasn't as good as I'd have liked. Some of the red mariner sauce had spilled over the wrapping paper, but I think I was panicking. I handed the sandwich over in order to resolve the situation.
Get the manager now. This is not acceptable.
He scoffed, taking the sandwich. Please don't. The manager's not here at the moment. I lied. I'd been told not to be over-familiar with the customers in the past, so I simply couldn't allow this to reflect badly on me. At this point, the customer advanced towards the employee-only area and shouted,
I want to make a complaint.
Without thinking, I took the knife and I sliced the customer's arm as he went past the counter, instinctively at a 45-degree angle. Under no circumstances are customers allowed behind the counter. I told him to get out. The stabbing of his arm seemed to shock him enough to leave, as he swiftly headed towards the door and ran out onto Commercial Street, taking the sandwich with him. In retrospect, this was a mistake, given that it limited his ability to pay for the sandwich. But I'm always learning. I'm always learning. This job means everything to me. I'm a fucking artist. I've trained for this. And no hallucination of my dead father is going to stop me from achieving my goals. I'm not going to fail this time. I can't fail.
SUBWORLD was written, performed and sound designed by Adam Welsh. 21st Century Tales is supported by Arts Council England and the Herefordshire Great Place programme. You've been listening to a Powerhouse digital production. The producer was Tim Evans.